Hey guys, great to have you here today, and I got a couple questions for you. Now I know everybody wants a beautiful swing. We'd all like to have our swing look really good on camera. What if I gave you 3 tips that could help your swing look really nice on camera? You could break it down in slow motion, but as a result, you're gonna hit it 20, 30 yards shorter. I got a feeling you're probably not gonna wanna do that. How would you like to sit in your living room, making practice swing after practice swing, looking in the mirror, checking your swing, working really hard, going to the range, trying to hit positions that look really nice on camera, but then you go out to the course and you actually play worse than you did before? Well, I think that we all would agree that we don't want to have those things happen. Now, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I think modern instruction is going that way. A lot of coaches out there are trying to make your swing look beautiful on camera. In the meantime, they're killing your distance and you're not actually hitting the ball any straighter or any more solid. I'm going to talk about 3 of these big myths out there, 3 of these tips that you may have heard before, how to avoid those, and then the correct thing to do to play your best golf. Let's go and get started. Okay, so piece number 1, one of the things that I see that's really killing people's distance, it makes it look nice on camera, is the idea of this short, compact swing, keeping in front of us. Man, that sounds good. When I hear about somebody talking about a short, compact swing, I think, man, that's good. I would like to have that. Well, the problem is, in order to create speed in the golf swing, we have to get a little bit more space and have a longer swing, especially, and this is a big key, especially if you're not very flexible. If you're not very flexible, you need to be doing everything you can to make your swing longer, looser, more free-flowing so you can get easier power. If you're already tight and you're trying to constrict that even more, you're going to really miss out on some distance. So let me talk about a couple of keys here that would be pretty important when you're doing this short, compact swing and why we don't want to do those. So one of the things that's very popular over the years has been to keep this left heel down. Now, some players can do this. If you take extremely flexible players, Adam Scott's like Gumby, Tiger Woods, extremely flexible. If you can put your hands and put your knuckles into the ground without bending your legs, you may be the kind of person that could keep that left foot down and still make a full backswing and get some pretty good power. If you're anything like me, I don't have that kind of flexibility. I gotta stay pretty loose, let that left heel lift a little bit so that I make sure I get a little bit more of a turn. Another thing is making sure that our head stays very still and stable on the ball. So when we do the first piece, if I keep my heel on the ground, I can go to about right here and I start to feel pretty tight. If I stay very laser focused on the ball, I don't want my head to move at all and to stay very, very still, that's going to also shorten up my swing. Look where my hands and my club are going there. That's not very far back. So me not being the most flexible person in the world, that's going to kill my distance. Let me go ahead and keep my left foot on the ground. I'm going to keep my head stable, and I'm going to have that idea that I'm going to make this short, compact, tight golf swing that in theory is supposed to help us be more accurate and more consistent and just an overall better golfer. Let me go ahead and hit one on my flight scope, and let's see what it says as far as my club head speed and my distance. I hit that one dead solid right down the middle. Couldn't really have hit one any better. So maybe it's up in the air as far as could I be a little bit more consistent? Could I be a little bit more solid if I struck it that way? Maybe, maybe not. But my distance is going to fall off the map. So that's actually the way that I used to swing. I always try to keep my left heel down. I saw some guys on tour keeping their left heel down. I heard coaches promoting to keep the left heel down. Back in college, even on the mini tours, I swung about 112 miles an hour, 111, 12 miles an hour. That was pretty much my full swing. And that's exactly what I got here. I got 111.2 miles per hour. I hit that ball pretty solid, a little bit off the heel maybe. 257 carry, 278 total distance. Pretty good. Nice solid straight shot just down the left center. I mean, most players would think that's just all I got. And if I'm trying to keep my left heel firmly on the ground, I'm trying to keep my head steady, I'm trying to have that short, compact swing. I always thought of my swing as being short and compact because I bought into the idea that that's going to make it more consistent, but then it just sucks away all your distance. All of a sudden you lose 20 or 30 yards off the tee. So that's the first myth number 1. I actually found that once I started to loosen up my swing, because I'm a little bit more on the tight side, that actually got me a little bit easier distance. So now when I swing nice and easy, I'm actually a little bit more accurate, or decently more accurate than I was when I was short and tight, but I have another 20 yards because my swing feels a little bit easier. If I really want to go after one, I'm 30 yards longer than I used to be if I try to really get after it, and that helps for par 5s, trying to get there in 2. So the next thing that I want to talk about is having that shorter swing. So basically being where I'm gonna go ahead and take a shorter, not ever go past parallel. And the way that I always used to play was I never wanted to see my driver farther than that. And I thought the shorter my backswing with my driver, the more accurate I'd be. Again, I would feel like I was still swinging pretty hard and not really getting over a 111, 112. For you guys, depending on where you are, maybe that's 120 for you is your nice, compact, easy swing if you're super athletic. Or maybe if you're not quite as athletic, you're getting up a little bit in age, maybe your short, more compact swing is 90 miles per hour. So it doesn't really matter what your current speed is. If I'm a little bit shorter, I'm gonna feel like I have to put out more effort at the top of the swing and I'm gonna get lower speed. So if you look at that short, compact swing again, the one that I just did, that's exactly what you're gonna see. The club doesn't get to parallel. The third piece here, and the one that I think is actually probably most important, is you have to swing hard at the ball, especially when we're practicing. If you look at the guys that are really ripping it out there, your Rory McIlroys, your Dustin Johnsons, those guys are really taking an aggressive swing at the ball. Now, if you practice on the range, swinging 100% as fast as you can swing, what's gonna happen is your maximum speed is gonna start to go up and up. When you start to relax this left heel and make a bigger turn and let that club go a little farther back to parallel or past parallel, there's probably been more major champions that swing past parallel the last 100 years than there has been ones that swing short of parallel. What's gonna happen is your maximum speed is gonna start to go up and up and up. And then when I back off of that a little bit, let's say when I wanna actually play on the course, if I swing at 90% or 95%, which is what the pros are swinging at, they're not 100%, but even when I back off of it, that's gonna be higher than my normal playing speed. So if I practice this on the range and I try to go for speed, I start to learn where I can generate speed and how to generate speed, and I can get more playable speed from that too. So now let's go over those three concepts. Let's go one by one here. I'm gonna lead you through a specific practice plan. Don't sit here and just watch this video. If you're at your, sitting at your desk, stand up, grab a club. If you don't have a club, just mimic these swings and wait till you get to the range and hit some balls trying these same things. But we gotta stand up and do these. If we just listen to them, you're not gonna be any longer, we're not gonna play any better. So number one, let's talk about that left heel. Here's what I want you to do. The first thing I want you to do is go ahead and let that left heel lift. And what we'll see is I can get to about right here with that left heel firmly into the ground. If I loosen that heel up a little bit, I'm gonna notice that I can go another 10, 15 degrees with my shoulders. So if this is my shoulders, there's the left heel firm on the ground. As I loosen that up, I get a little bit extra. I wanna let my hips go ahead and rotate too. And I wanna let my arms go as high as I can. As I let that left heel loosen up a little bit, that can happen, and I can get that good club head speed doing that. So here's what I want you to do. 10 swings, let that left heel lift a couple inches off the ground, and then try to swing for maximum club head speed. So let's do 10 swings. I'm just gonna do 2 here to show you what this would look like. So lifting that left heel, big shoulder turn, and I'm gonna swing as hard as I can. Once I've done 10, and I get kind of familiar with how that would feel, now I wanna try to do that same thing hitting a golf ball. Now at first, this golf ball may go anywhere. I may hit it out of bounds right, I may top one. I don't care, I'm looking for maximum speed. So we start out around 111. Let's try now, let me make sure my radar is ready. Let's try out now, I'm gonna see if I can get at least 115. So I'm lifting that left heel. Instead of having that short compact swing, I'm thinking about my hands going really far back. Think Davis Love, think Bubba Watson, think all these great players throughout time, Jack Nicklaus, long, free-flowing swing. So let's see what that does when I try to give it a good rip for maximum speed. Again, not worrying where this ball goes. There we go. I actually hit that straighter than the one that I did before, and I would bet, I haven't looked at my radar yet, but I would bet $100,000 that that was more club head speed. Let's see what it spits out here. 121.3. 10 miles an hour more club head speed. The ball went straighter. It carried where the last one rolled out to, and I picked up about 20 yards. That was just over 300 yards, and I got about a 5 mile an hour wind into my face. I'm really happy with that. So again, 10 swings, practice swings, lifting the left heel 1 to 2 inches, letting the arms go as long as you can, and then finally, the final piece on that, did I go 90 or 80% swing speed? No, I went 100%. I'm actually gonna take it as a challenge to see if I can beat that 120. I wanna see if I can get 121, 122 to really break that. So I'm at 121.3. I'm gonna do everything within my power to get to at least 122 miles an hour here. If my swing gets a little loose, maybe my club goes past parallel, which we'll get to here in a second, I'm not worried about it. I'm just talking maximum swing speed, and I don't care where this golf ball goes. There we go. I felt like I swung a little harder. Let's go ahead and see what the radar says here. Again, right down the pipe. What you guys are gonna find is if you put out a lot of effort, you actually have a little bit more control. Maybe the first few go kind of crazy, but once you get the feeling for the timing of it, it's actually just as consistent as your more controlled swing. It just goes a heck of a lot farther. 121.7, so I only picked up about a half a mile an hour club head speed. Didn't hit it quite as solid, a little off the toe, but again, 286, not too bad. Now let's go ahead and try to get one a little past parallel. So this is a big one when we start thinking about these short, compact swings. I don't mind if your swing is short as far as the club, as long as you're making a good turn going back, as long as you're doing the other things correctly. But what I've found, since so many players struggle to get the maximum distance that they can, what I found is let's go ahead and get it a little bit longer. I think what you'll see, you'll pick up a few miles an hour club head speed, but in reality, it's gonna go about as straight as it did before. So this one, I'm gonna go ahead, again, 10 practice swings. I'm combining lifting that left heel, getting that high hand path, and I'm gonna go ahead and let that club get a little past parallel. Again, does it look perfect on camera? No, it doesn't look perfect on camera. Does that matter? Not if you're hitting it 20 yards farther and it's still in the middle of the fairway. I would much rather be 20 yards in front of my buddies in the fairway with a little long backswing than I would having this really pretty swing and shooting 5 strokes higher. So let's go ahead and try to ramp up the speed a little bit more, letting the club go just a little bit long. And again, like I said, this isn't a crazy thing. There's tons of players that gone past parallel in their backswing and won major championships. This is what the pros are already doing. It's just all the new instruction is kind of coaching this out of the game and killing people's speeds. So let's go ahead and try to go a little bit long with the shaft on this one and combine that with the bigger shoulder turn and the heel lift. I know I made a little bit more distance there. Again, it's not going to look perfect on camera, but I swung a little faster. 124.7, that's pretty good for me. That's getting near as close as I can go. I overdrew that one a little bit, didn't hit it perfect, but I still got 307 yards of distance. Again, that would be left center fairway, left side of the fairway. Not really losing a ton of accuracy. Now you're gonna get to where if I just swing all out 100% as hard as I go, you may lose some accuracy, but again, we're trying to get that top number up and then you can tone it down from there. You don't have to swing 100% every time, you just have to practice at 100%. Then when you get on the course, your 90% is gonna be faster than it ever was before. So 10 swings, lifting the left heel, thinking of that long, free-flowing swing. All right, so to recap, we're gonna go 10 swings, 10 practice swings, lifting the left heel, thinking of a long, free-flowing swing, really letting those arms get back there. Then we're gonna hit a couple balls going for maximum speed, 100% effort on each one of these. Then we're gonna do 10 swings where we still do the heel lift and the long, free-flowing swing, and we're actually gonna let that club get a little past parallel. Again, not gonna look perfect on camera, but if you drive it 20 yards farther, you hit it just as solid, just as straight, who cares? Play with it. So 10 practice swings doing that, then we're gonna hit a few balls, again, just going for maximum club head speed. Now when you take it out to the course, all I want you guys to do is the exact same thing. You can just tone it down a little bit. You don't have to lift the left heel way up, just soften it up a little bit so it comes barely off the ground. Your club doesn't have to come way past parallel, but if it goes a little bit past parallel, that's completely fine. All right, so what should we do next? The next step to take for this is to go to the power turn. That's what we call it on the Top Speed Golf system. I got an awesome bonus video that's gonna teach you how to get that bigger turn, not only from your hips up to your shoulders to make that good full backswing, and then even more important, to come all the way through to that good full finish. You really need this, especially if you're not very flexible. This is gonna allow you to still get some acceleration through the ball by making that more free-flowing turn. So I'm gonna play a preview of that video here in a second. Just click the link or the card on the screen. You'll get instant access to that or the link down below the video. Best of luck and I'll see you in the power turn. With the correct technique, we can all hit it with really good distance without a lot of muscular effort. And it all starts out, the very first thing you have to do is get a good powerful turn to load up the body. And it's not only in golf, but in all sports we have to rotate the body. At least 90 degrees with the shoulders as you swing to the top. Preferably, we can go even a little bit past 90 to really get loaded up. that's going to allow us to have a lot of power. So we don't just have to look at golf for this. Let's actually look at other sports. They're rotating their body, then they're coming forward. So we have to get that load. We have to get this big shoulder turn to be able to create power in the golf swing. So in this series of videos, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. That's one of the first keys to getting power, and we're all going to get at least a 90-degree turn, if not more than that. I think you'll be surprised at what you can do. So let's go ahead and get started with the next series of videos, and I'm going to show you how to get this big, powerful turn. All right, guys, so before we go, let's take a look at this in action with some of the top pros. Now here we're looking at Adam Scott, and you're going to see as he rotates to the top, good full shoulder turn. This is pretty typical of what I see with the top pros, a little past 90. Those guys are working on their flexibility, so sometimes they can get to 100 or even 110 degrees.